Oh.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay. We're live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode
Eight.
eight.
That's right.
Eight. Damn. Brady, eight podcasts, dude. What do you think?
Yeah. We're 8 in. 8 weeks. Eight
8
weeks of
weeks.
posts so far.
8 weeks strong.
Yeah. We we got a special guest coming on here shortly.
We do.
We're
We
not gonna
do.
talk about him yet.
Drum roll. Just kidding. We're not going to tell you yet. You're going
Drum
to have
roll
to
for
wait
2
for
more
episode
weeks.
10. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
we got a special guest coming on, episode 10. And that's gonna be a really good podcast. We're really excited for it. So
Yeah.
be
Definitely going to be really
sure
cool.
be sure to tune in for that one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right,
Um,
dude.
so I'll go through with normal intro things. Welcome back, everybody. Um, you know, First I want to thank you all for listening and joining us, and I hope you learned something, or at least have a good time, and enjoy just kind of being in the virtual room with Brandon and I as we talk about all sorts of random things. If you haven't yet, give us a like and subscribe, and or a rating and review, depending on what your platform is for listening or watching this. We'd greatly appreciate it. It helps kind of put our podcast out there, and try and share it with your friends, and make sure you tag us. You can tag us at Capo Roth for Brandon, or at Dude Who Trains _ Brady Thistle. Those links are in the description. And that's all I gotta say. We greatly appreciate anything that you guys do for us, and we love having you listening here with us. So we're gonna get going.
Yeah. We love you.
We love our fans.
Yeah. So Brady, what are you
Go on, man.
doing with Christmas? Anything special?
Christmas.
You just chilling in?
It is that time. Seeing my parents, and then Christmas Day. I really don't know what's going on Christmas Day yet. I think I'm supposed to be with my mom. But I'm not sure. I have no idea what's going on. Might just be chilling at the house. But after Christmas, we're headed out to the Outer Banks.
Oh,
Yeah, gonna hang out there for a little under a week, and then we'll drive back up.
cool.
But
Hotel, you
hopefully,
and Haley going out there?
every year my family, we go out to the Outer Banks and we rent
Okay.
just this big house that's on the beach.
Sick.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool. It's pretty chill. It's a good time to just kind of decompress from everything in the year and spend some time with family without any obligations to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty good time.
For sure.
Hopefully, gonna be able to find a gym down there because I still plan to train.
Mm, you're not gonna play in a little deload?
No, no, not right now. I feel great right now.
Yeah.
Um, all of my lifts are going really, really well. So I don't want to take time off. If
Yeah.
I don't really know what I would do with a week off. I don't I don't even remember the last time I had more than 2 days off.
Mm,
Like I don't know what I would do with a week off. I'd probably
that's a lot of time.
yeah, a week is a lot of time. It's crazy. It
And at
always
the same
cracks me.
time goes quick.
Yeah, it always cracks me up. The guys that they they're pretty new into the gym and all that stuff, and they talk about being super hardcore about it, and they're like, "Yeah, but I took 2 weeks off like 3 months ago just because I needed a break." I'm like, 2 weeks off? Like,
Dude,
what did you do?
actually though, that actually gets said to me a lot more
Yeah,
than you would think. Like, oh yeah, I'm back and it's been like 2 weeks. I'm like, I just saw you. What? And you're back? Like,
yeah,
you took a leave of absence in that time? Like,
yeah.
yeah, no, but seriously though,
Uh,
that's a good way to kind of like not get the ball rolling.
right, yeah. Taking 2 week, even 1 week is it's really hard to get back when you'll train for 2 months and then you'll take a whole week off. It's just like it really throws you out of your groove.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you need a deload, still go train, but just train, pulled back,
Yeah. Definitely.
right?
Definitely.
Like deload doesn't mean stop everything you're doing.
Mm.
It just means pull back a little bit so that your body can catch up and recover to the damage that you've done,
Yeah.
right? So I think that gets a little bit misconstrued with deloads. Um,
Yeah. Would you program a deload where you just like how would you program a deload?
actually, I just programmed a deload for Haley.
Oh, nice.
So it's
And what is a deload for those people that don't know what a deload is and why we take deloads?
okay. So a deload is essentially a a time period in your training where you are no longer recovering from your training, so you have to take some time away from your standard programming so that your body can recover and get yourself back to 100%. Um, and so when you take a deload, what you're essentially doing is pulling back on your training and but still hammering your diet right so that you can let your body recover and get back to its full 100% capacity, all gears, all everything's oiled up and you're good to go. Because when you train really hard for a long time, you're always just kind of chipping away at yourself, and we do our best to recover day in day out. And really, your training should be matched with your diet and your recovery pretty well. If you have to take a deload every 2-3 months, you probably have something missing in your recovery, or you're just killing yourself with volume. You shouldn't have to
Yeah.
take a deload every couple months.
Hmm.
Um, there's specific. I guess I can't fully say that because there's specific athletes that will need deloads that way, but very few and far between. So, was that well enough described? I don't. Should I go further?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So essentially, a deload is just taking some time to back off your your intensity so that you can fully recover your body, so that you can continue to progress when you come back.
Gotcha.
Um,
And what does tapering back look like?
when I program them, essentially I take your working set and I about 60% it.
Okay.
That's just it's the easiest way for me to um, kind of program it and make it understandable for people. The goal is not to go to failure,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to create that high level of stimulus that's going to break you down.
Hmm.
You want to keep doing your movement patterns, and you want to still get in there and move blood and nutrients through your muscles so that they can, then demand more nutrients, which is going to help them recover. But you don't want to actually break down too much because the whole goal of your deload is to recover.
Yeah.
So 60% is just what I mark because it should be well recoverable,
Hmm.
right? Um, so that's kind of how I go about a deload. I take all of your working set loads and I essentially just over half them,
Yeah.
just under half them, 60% them,
Yes. Yeah. I think we get
right?
definitely.
Um, and then generally it'll go for a week, right? Depending on the person and what their split looks like, it can be a little bit longer. Sometimes it'll be a full cycle of training, right? If your training doesn't um, go through an entire week and say it's like an 8-day cycle or an 8-day split,
Hmm.
um, then I'll generally just run it the whole split or the whole cycle. Um, but that depends person to person. Most of the time, it's right around a week.
Yeah.
However, if you get to the end of that week and you still are crushed, um, and hopefully you and your coach are aware enough of your body and how it feels to know if you're still under recovered or not, you can take it longer, right? There is no magic law saying how long your deload should or shouldn't be. The whole You have to look at the principles and the basis of your deload, which is to get you back to 100%, so that when you go back to the gym, you're firing on all cylinders again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And there's a handful of different ways to have that marked in your head, and it's probably different for everybody. For some, it'll be by the end of your deload, you're just itching to lift heavy loads again. You're itching to go to failure. When that happens, you're probably pretty good to move forward again. You kind of have that fire again. And then for others, it can just be their ambition to go into the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes some awareness of who you are and how you train to kind of understand exactly when to end your deload. But if you've never done a deload and you're still kind of new to training and you accidentally flooded yourself with volume on your first training block, and so it crushed you, take the week, pull back, and then that's also a good time to go back through and rework your training, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
take that time to reflect and just go, all right, so I needed a deload in 2 months. That's not acceptable. What in my program is crushing me?
Yeah.
And then find a way to, you know, either mitigate it or remove it completely or find an alternative. And maybe you look at your training and you're going through it all and it should be totally manageable. Then you look at other things. How are you sleeping? How are you eating? There's a lot of factors to it. So deloads are a good time to kind of reflect and look on what you've done, so that when you come back from your deload, you're taking a step on the right foot to make sure you don't have to deload again quickly.
Yeah.
In a perfect situation, you should almost never have to deload. You
Mm-hmm.
should be able to perfectly recover from each session.
Yeah. Ideally.
Right. That ideally in a vacuum,
Yeah.
perfect body, perfect sleep, perfect
Mm-hmm.
everything. But that doesn't happen, right? So we slowly chip away at our recovery, and eventually we hit a point where we're just crushed, and that's when you take your deload.
Yeah.
But there's never a time that I program in a deload like before it's needed. Like
I agree.
I would never program like, all right, you're gonna do 6 weeks and then we're gonna deload.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. If you don't need the extra recovery, then you don't need it. It would be a waste of a week or a cycle,
Total waste of a week.
right? So, um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I've always auto-regulated. Always
yeah,
auto-regulated my
absolutely. Me
deloads.
too.
Always.
Me too.
There was a point in my time, like in my training, where like maybe in the very beginning, I had a planned deload every or like a max of some sort, like every 4 weeks, like something like that. You know what I mean? Like I go through like a small little like micro cycle of some sort, and
Yeah,
I go through like the first 3 weeks, and then challenge myself in the fourth week, try to like set a PR of some sort, or like
right.
a new sub max,
Mm.
and then I like religiously had a deload like after that week, and then
Gotcha.
that was like in the very beginning of my training, obviously. But now everything is auto regulated, and it's kind of like
Right,
taken only when needed.
right. Yeah, exactly. And you get better at that the longer you train and the more you understand what
Yeah,
actually affects your body,
yeah.
you know.
And like,
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as you learn to kind of make substitutes and you know make the adjustment on the fly of how you're feeling and
Hmm.
those kinds of things, right? Because it could be a situation where you go into a training session and you're not feeling great, but instead of recognizing that you're not feeling great, you still go after it and just absolutely dig a hole that you can't get out of. And now because you took that one training session that way, instead of pulling back on that training session, you now have to take a whole week.
Yeah.
Right. But that comes as a learned skill, right?
Yeah.
Bodybuilding, training, it's all a learned skill. You just you have to do it.
Yeah. You have to
And it's
go through the
constantly
rungs.
changing too.
Yeah.
So it's a game of catch up all the time.
Totally. And
Yeah.
when would you, how would you describe, and I would say that overtraining is generally a good indicator for when to take a deload. Would you agree?
I guess what do you mean by overtraining? I think a lot of people have different kind of definitions of what overtraining means.
Yeah, so and then I wanted to maybe see if you had any examples of what an overtrained individual might be experiencing that would end them up having to take a deload. So like the reason for taking a deload, generally speaking, unless there's like some event like in the future or
Yeah.
something kind of
Right.
really happens
That
like
was the
kind of
point.
tight and you need to take a deload, then you can take a deload. Again, that's more auto-regulated based off of your schedule and things like that. But like
Yeah.
usually when you should take a deload is when people get overtrained. So my question was just like what are some signs and symptoms of an overtrained individual?
Um,
Not to like bombard you with talk time, but
yeah, so
stamina is great, Brady.
overtrained, I think, I don't know, I think overtrained gets a bit of a bad rep.
You
I
can
think,
take it from near and far, I think, with that word.
yeah, I think most people, when they're originally thrown the concept of you're overtraining, it generally just means that they're going to failure. There's a while where the concept of going to failure on sets was overtraining,
Hmm.
or doing any sort of intensity technique was overtraining.
Hmm.
Like drop sets. And I don't think that's true. So I think
Yeah, like let's just let the people know that overtraining doesn't happen in one day.
right, and really all overtraining is under recovering.
Yeah, it is your inability to recover from the demands that you've created.
Right. That's overtraining.
Yeah, and it will lead to certain symptoms.
Right. And so yeah, we'll get there now. For the most part, well, first one is just going to be constant fatigue. You have no endurance through a set.
Hmm.
Um, you're declining week to week, or session to session, whatever, in your rep targets. You're losing your rep standardization. So you're not keeping your standard strict form, or strict form. Those are probably the main ones for me.
Hmm.
When looking at the gym, if someone is under recovered,
Yep. Also
it's
injuries, like small little
yeah,
aches and pains also.
yep, that can be a thing
That is
too.
another one.
Um, yeah, but most of the time when I'm looking at whether to give someone a deload, I'm really just kind of watching performance.
Yeah, their numbers, right?
Yep. Most of the time,
Yeah.
just watching the numbers, especially because, you know, all of my clients I'm not in person with, right? I coach fully online. The only person that I'm training in person with is my girlfriend, and so I was able to very quickly realize that she needed a deload. But aside from that, if I'm not there in person and I can't actually watch you through every set and how long you're taking in between sets and all of that stuff. I have to just kind of go off of your performance numbers.
Yeah.
And then when you check in and let me know, oh, this week was kind of shit.
Yep.
Right.
And
But
so was last week.
yeah, right. And so
And the
was the
week
week
before.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for a deload.
Yeah.
That sounds like a very familiar conversation.
um, but I don't know. The way I program, very seldom does it come to that. Haley's programming is very different from any of my clients. One, because I can be there in person. And two, because she wants to competitively powerlift. Right. So her programming is completely different. We have her going through different cycles,
hmm
and with the goal of performing a better 1 rep max.
Yeah. That
Right.
was
So deloads are a little bit more common in that because she's operating at um, much closer or
much
I don't
higher
know,
intensities.
yeah, much higher intensities. That's what I was trying
She's
to say.
yeah, and she's always like testing her capacity as well.
Yeah, I mean she's doing lots of 3 rep sets
Yeah.
at they're like 90%.
Yeah. Heavy CNS sets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're just her days are much harder on her recovery
Yeah.
than um, the other my other clients,
hmm
right? Because they aren't trying to be power lifters. So I can kind of auto regulate their recovery for them by programming movements that are going to allow them to recover quicker,
Okay.
right? So, if I wanted to absolutely crush my clients, I'd just give them 3 compound movements every day,
hmm
right?
Yeah.
And
You just make
they'd
them
be
squat bench
destroyed.
that every day.
Right, exactly. You just you give them, on leg day you give them a back squat, and then you give them
A front
a
squat.
a front squat and then a sumo.
Yeah.
And then on push day you give them incline press, overhead press, and then like a decline or a flat press.
Yep.
And then on pull day you give them a barbell row, a conventional deadlift, and then you could even do like a Meadows row or a T-bar, or just like those movements are so taxing.
They can do deadlift too because it's a back day.
Right.
You remember doing deadlifts on back days, bro?
Yeah, I've programmed rack pulls on back day. Like,
Understandable.
right. But most people do rack pulls wrong. So the only person that I've programmed rack pulls on back day for is Haley because I can be there to walk her through them.
Yeah.
Um, and now she's crushing it, and she has a fucking massive back. So,
Bruh, that picture.
dude, she's big.
Animal.
She is an beast,
Animal.
absolute beast.
Absolutely.
Um. Anyway,
Right.
quick tangent there. But yeah, so like, if I wanted to kill my clients, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
But because I'm able to gauge the recovery, especially the longer I work with them, I can gauge the recovery. Um, I'll give them a compound movement, and then I'll give them, another movement that is a little bit more stabilized. And then, your third movement is going to be even more stabilized and possibly isolated. And, you move through the workout, you move towards higher recoverable um, movements. At least that's how I program, right? Because as they're getting through the session, they're more and more tired. And if you continue to, at least with most people, if you continue to hit them with hard movements that require lots of extra stabilization, I suppose, they're just not going to perform it well, right? It takes a seriously mentally tough person and mechanically sound lifter to have a compound movement at the end of their session.
Yeah, if you can go through an entire leg day and then
Back
put a
squat
barbell on your
to
back,
finish. Right.
yeah, you're either a
It
G
take
or your programming needs some work.
right. And it can totally be done. And there is some validity to programming that way. And there is definitely a time where that is a thing. But for most clients that I have, they have not been training nearly long enough
Yeah.
or have the education or the foundation built to have value in that. And they're not strong enough, right? So I'll explain a time and when you kind of program a compound at the end of your lift. And it's when you're getting to the point where you're so strong that it's starting to get dangerous to throw a barbell on your back or hold a barbell in your hands, right?
Okay.
It's starting to get dangerous, or it's becoming way overly taxing to do that movement first because it's so heavy.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you program other things first, like we'll talk about legs. You'll do leg extensions, ham curls, and then like a hack squat. And then you can do, if you wanted to, you could do a leg press or, some other leg movement, and then have your fourth movement be a back squat. Now your back squat working set, instead of it being 6 plates, is 4 plates.
Yeah.
And that's much more manageable. You're going to recover from it better, even though you're going into it tired. And so that's when that comes into play. When the weight that you would be lifting, if you were lifting it fresh, would be more taxing than it's worth.
Yeah. Is that something that
But
Nick does?
I don't think he does. I mean, he's an animal, but no,
Yeah.
he still puts his compounds first. I think he's a little bit stubborn for that. So no, I don't think he does that. And I think for him, he still sees a lot of runway in his movements,
Yeah.
and he just likes lifting really heavy stuff.
Oh yeah.
So from the aspect of him enjoying his training, he gets more out of having his compound movement first.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
totally. I could totally, that's why actually I was wondering if that's something that he did, because he's actually an individual that would fall into that category where like
absolutely.
his tissue tolerance is definitely being challenged
Yeah,
with
right,
the
right.
weights that he's using.
Yeah, we watched him squat 725 the other day.
Saw him row 5 plates, near 5 plates.
I think he
Um,
does row 5 plates.
yeah, sorry, I meant 6.
Yeah, he's working on 6 plates now.
Yeah, trying.
Yeah, so that's when that would be programmed. But for Nick, it wouldn't be as enjoyable for him.
He's also
Maybe
so
one day.
proficient.
Yeah, right. He is so
He's
good
just
at
so
doing
good at
what
what
he
he
does.
does. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's when you kind of program a compound towards the end of a session.
Mm.
Um, and I work with nobody that is that advanced.
Yeah, yeah. It would
Right.
be awesome to work with someone like Nick.
Oh, it would be cool, but
I
I
love the
also
fact that he's pulling 3K on his freaking posts now. Isn't that crazy, bro?
yeah,
That's dope.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for his come up.
yeah. Dude, I've been waiting for this for like 5 years now. No lie. Like the first time I met Nick, I knew he was an anomaly.
Yeah.
I'll take that to my grave. I wish this was like the stock market and I had some money invested in him or something.
Had some money. You do have money invested in him. He's your
Oh
coach.
yeah, true.
Right?
Damn.
I mean, one day we'll be the guys that were one of his first clients.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally. Were you on board before me?
I don't think so. No. Have you been with him a year?
I think I was like his first or second client, I think. I don't know. I
I
remember
joined.
telling him, I think I've told this story. I remember telling him that he should be a coach. Because I remember he was like not sure if he should be like a PT or like chiro or something. I was like, dude, you're really freaking good at this. You should just do this. Like
Just
do
do
what you're
this.
really dirty at. And you're already smarter than half the PTs and chiros I know. So like,
Right.
what's the
Yeah,
point?
you'd be doing yourself a disservice.
Seriously. Yeah.
Could you imagine? He'd be so upset.
If if he was just cracking people's necks, he'd probably just rip them off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd be so upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Don't
there,
waste your
there
time.
was no way he wasn't going to go down this path.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't possible.
Yeah. It was inevitable.
Yeah. But yeah, if you haven't seen who we're talking about, we've mentioned him probably almost every podcast.
Oh yeah.
At
Multiple
Nick
times.
Gloff, he will also be in the description of this episode. Um, check him out. Give him a follow. He's a savage.
He is straight savage.
Strongest 22-year-old you'll ever see.
And not just any savage. He's a very, very, very intellectual savage,
Yeah.
which makes him even more of a savage and lethal.
Yeah. Super smart, super kind. Good dude.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so that's about it for the Nick Gloff podcast.
Ugh.
So where were we?
Dude, I don't even know what we were talking about. We were talking about
Tissue
deloads for a
tolerances,
second.
deloads, programming heavy compounds last. So I think,
Oh, I was just talking about how with the way that I program, um, I don't crush my clients
yeah,
um, with ridiculous movements that are just gonna force them to need a deload every 2 months,
yeah,
right? So,
anyone can do that.
right, as a coach, you should be looking to try to do that. You should be looking to program your clients in a way that's going to allow them to recover to the best of their ability every day,
Yeah,
right? Because any coach can just program you 5 sets of 20, and you'll feel like you had the craziest workout of your life
yeah,
because you just destroyed every last fiber you've ever had in your body,
yeah.
right? And then you won't recover for like 10 days,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be like, wow, that's such a great workout. But it's not, because you can't
Yeah,
recover from it. Like,
yeah.
that means you can't go back and do it again. Right? Like, this is a long game of doing things over and over
Yeah,
and over again. And if you
yeah.
do something once and can't do it again for 10 days,
Mm-hmm.
you're putting yourself way behind the game.
Yeah.
You got to do things you can recover from.
Mm.
It's
That's
so
definitely
important.
one of my bigger pet peeves.
Oh, dude, I was just gonna ask you about pet peeves. I have it. I literally
Beat you
have
to
it
it.
written down.
That's one of them.
But specifically the pet peeves that I wanted to talk about is do you have any like movement pet peeves that people do, or like in an exercise? For instance, I wrote mine down so that you know what I'm talking about.
Honestly,
Something that just like blows my mind and makes no sense to me, and I hate when I see people do it, is when someone is going to conventional deadlift and they roll the bar way out in front of them,
I
roll
remember
it
talking
back
about
towards
this.
them, and start lifting it before the bar has stopped moving.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're trying to pick the bar up this way, and you're giving the bar momentum this way.
Yeah. And you're
It's
ripping it up. You're ripping it off the ground before it even hits your toes.
right.
Like,
I'm like, that is, oh my God.
yeah.
It's like, I think that's one of my biggest movement pet peeves that I see people do all the time. I know
I
this is
mean,
a tough one to think of
okay.
on the spot.
So I actually have like three things.
Do you really?
Um, one of them is clips on a Smith machine. That's just something that I've seen. That's not necessary. The other thing is going to be squatting in pillows, like in like pillow shoes, like just
Oh,
normal shoes, like Nike shoes. Yeah, no, I should not have said
yeah.
that. But just like squatting in like normal Nike shoes with like a huge sole to the bottom of it, where it's like
Yep.
people have just no idea, and then they squat and they're like on their heels. That's also kind of a pet
I
peeve. And then the other pet peeve I think is going to be range of motion. I think that will take the cake for
yeah.
most things. Is when I see someone do like at Planet Fitness specifically, when I see like
Calling them out.
just like yeah, like I'll see like the older dudes more so, they really like to just like grunt out and just like they'll do it as fast as they can and they have no standard for their repetition. So they'll like if they're doing like a chest press, they'll literally chest press like maybe like 4 inches, like
Yeah.
4 inches, literally, dude, like just 4 inches, and then they'll come back down, and then another 4 inches, and then come back down, and then 4 inches, and then come back down, and they'll do it like really fast. Especially on the pull down machine, that's the funniest one
Oh
is
my
watching them
God.
on a
The
pull
pull down
down machine,
machine,
not
man.
even the cable, just like like a pull down machine, and they're like they're up here and their elbows get like maybe just below their ears, like not even like just to their ears, and they're like right there, and then their torso's swinging back and they come forward, and now you
They're
got me
doing
all
it for
riled up.
adults.
Yeah, they're doing it for adults.
They're doing it for adults.
That's what I'm gonna tell myself from here on out.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Now I watched a guy quarter squat a lot today.
Yeah, yeah, range of motion's a big pet peeve for me.
Yeah. I was watching this guy quarter squat 3.5 plates. He's
Yeah,
really getting into it though. He was pretty hype.
yeah.
I don't know if you heard that or not.
I like just barely.
Just barely. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
any more about it. But
yeah.
speaking on the shoe thing, I have a client that I yell at every single day. Stop lifting and running shoes.
Yeah.
He finally did.
Yeah.
He's
Good
like,
stuff.
dude, that was the best I've ever lifted. And I'm like,
Yeah, dude.
whoa.
Yeah.
I'm like, imagine that. You can
Yep.
actually feel the ground and direct force through your feet.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Literally.
crazy?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
The
I've
shoe
seen
thing
a
definitely gets me.
yeah. Like literally the same thing happened to me like last week with dude at the gym. He just like wanted a little bit of help. And the first thing I did
It's
with
like
him was
take
take his
shoes.
shoes off. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I took his shoes off and I taught him how to root through his foot properly. And then I saw him again like the following week and he was like, that was the best leg station I've ever had.
Right.
And I was like,
Every time.
I
Every
know.
time.
Every time.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm it's so funny. I'm yet to have a client that after like probably a month, they go, dude, I used to hate leg day, but I think it's my favorite day now. Every single one. It's like once
You
you
have yet to have a client that says that?
I've no,
Or
I've had
all of your
yet to have a
clients?
client that hasn't said that.
Gotcha.
Every
That's
single
interesting.
client I have is just like, I love leg day so much.
Yo,
And
good
it's just
shit.
like once you teach them to properly move their body,
Hmm.
it becomes far less, I guess annoying would be
It's
the right way to put it. Like
it is
leg day
so
can be
annoying.
really annoying if you don't
It,
have any
yeah.
body control.
No. Yeah, and I was one of them, dude. Like if you're
Yeah.
like a newborn baby gazelle,
Yeah.
it is
It's really
not fun.
frustrating. It is
Yeah,
really, really frustrating
it
because you
really
feel
is.
like shit.
Yeah, the entire time. Like every repetition just doesn't feel the same. How
Yep.
horrible is that?
Yeah. Yep. And then you have such a hard time getting a pump and all that stuff. And
Yeah, and your
so,
legs are small to begin with. You're like, oh, what's the point?
damn it. But yeah, and then you start to teach them how to actually move their body and control the weight and all of those things and then it becomes the best day ever, and it is.
Yeah,
leg
no
day
lie.
is leg day is the best day, man.
Yeah, and it's funny
Every
because everyone in my gym, everyone hates leg days. Like I still, you can tell a lot about someone when you talk to them about lifting, whether it's about their split or this, that, the other. But like there are a few flags that I get that tells me where a person is in terms of like their journey,
Their
you
training
know?
age.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if someone says like, "Oh, I haven't done a leg day in like a couple months," I'm like,
Oh
"All
my
right,
God. I'm
all
like,
right." I remember being like that like two
oh,
years in. Like that was me. I didn't train my legs for like 2 years, and then I started to realize, hey, I have a whole nother muscle group that I have to start training here. Um,
many
yeah,
muscle groups.
yeah, that's one of them. The other one is, oh, I'm doing like chest, back, shoulders, arms, and then I no legs, of course, and
No
then repeat
legs.
chest, back, shoulders, arms. It's a big
Leg
flag.
day is actually just a rest day.
Yeah, leg days just turn into arm days, or they
Right.
just weren't feeling good. You know,
Yeah.
they just weren't feeling right for their leg day, so they did arms. That's also kind of a pet peeve of mine too, because it's like
Oh, my
you
knees are
have to
just
do
hurting a little
things.
bit.
Yeah, it's like you have to do certain things, but you're just not doing them. You're just avoiding them,
Yeah.
which doesn't make it go away.
You know what's really funny is that how most people are about legs is how I always was about arms. I
Weird.
I've never just like trained arms, which is why I have shit arms now. Right. And like they're so far behind every other body part that I have.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm working real hard to try and catch them back up now, but
Mm.
it's uh it's not going so well
Yeah.
because I'm also working really hard to continue to progress all my other body
Everything
parts.
else. Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's fine. I'm just gonna step on stage with some shit arms and
It's
then
okay. People will be too wrapped up in my tiny calves to look at your shit arms. So, all right.
I'm telling you, man, you got to get on the journey. Calves and adductors every day. I,
I'm gonna start hopping on the calves every day. I actually might hop on the
it
adductors every day too. I
it
mean,
has been. I just superset them.
yeah, you can just knock them out
Yep,
like real easy.
because it's every day, but it's just two sets of 15.
Yep.
That's
I'm not
it.
opposed. I'm not
Two
opposed.
sets of 15, and once you hit 15, just stop, right? Because we aren't trying to crush ourselves, right? Adductors is one of those things that if you destroy yourself, you won't walk for like 2 days.
Having sore adductors is actually like
Is
the most
the
bizarre thing.
worst. It
Yeah.
is the worst, man.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got into it. Is like I did it every day, and I started pretty light to get my adductors acclimated to the volume now.
Mm.
And I I went from half the adductor stack, and just yesterday I did the full stack for 20.
Oh fuck. Damn, that's crazy,
Yeah,
Brady.
right. And they've grown. My calves have grown.
Hmm.
I don't have a pair of pants that my calves don't fill out the bottom of the pants. It's awesome.
That is a
So
very good feeling.
it's it is a
What does
very
it feel
good
like? Tell me what it feels like, Brady. Write it down.
feeling. Write it down.
Take a voice memo. Send it to me.
I will. I'll just send you pictures.
Yeah, yeah, send pics.
10 pics. But yeah, I just hit them a lot because I recover from them. And if I just tell myself that I have to do them every day, it's a lot better than going, okay, I got to hit them once a week. Because once a week is a lot easier to skip and then you miss the whole week than, okay, I just got to do it every day.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of how I operate. And so if I just have to do something every day, it just becomes part of a routine.
Mm.
And then even if I miss one, I still did 6 sessions. And not 6 sessions. I don't train 7 times a week. But,
You have
I still
multiple
hit
under the bag.
90% of my sessions
Yeah, yeah.
instead of missing
50.
100. Right?
Yeah, if you have one
Yeah.
scheduled.
Right. So, yeah, just doing them every day was definitely the easiest way to make them become routine, and it's a good way to kind of finish out your lift too.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
finish doing all your stuff, and you're like, all right, let's go hit some baby cows and
Yeah,
grow a huge crotch.
exactly.
That's
Yep.
what it's
Pretty much. Pretty much.
about. But
Yeah.
yeah, so there's my tip for if you have small calves. or a thigh gap.
Train them every day.
Train them every day, but don't kill yourself with volume.
Yep.
2 sets, 15. Get her done.
Get her done.
That's it. Dude.
It's 11.
It's 11. But what I
So,
want to talk about
yeah.
was the Olympia.
Yes.
The Olympia
11
just
o'clock
happened.
Olympia talk.
Yes.
Let's go.
Dude.
Let me pop up some pictures.
You
Or you pop up some pictures
want
because
me
I
to
think
pop up some
you said that
pictures?
you had some pictures.
Yeah, I got them
I
up.
was just, when I said that, I just meant I'm going to Google some.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. All right. So, first of all, W. Whitman photo. He is amazing. Give him a follow. I actually don't. I don't give him a follow on this page.
Do what I say, not as I do.
I don't use this Instagram that often. I just started using it again. Yeah, so I think there's a couple big things to talk about
Dude,
this year.
Ruff, Diesel,
Oh my dude.
Breon taking third.
Terrence Ruffin.
Bro.
So for any of you who don't follow Terrence Ruffin, definitely do. This is his at rough underscore diesel. He is incredible. He really, really showed up. And I think one of the coolest things that I just noticed about his physique is his physique structurally is exactly the same as Chris Bumstead's. He's just shorter. Like it, I watched them get compared side by side because Terrence came in second. He pulled out second right at the end there, which was awesome.
I thought that was crazy. When I saw that, my jaw literally dropped.
Oh
I was
my
like,
goodness.
no way.
Yeah, I was so excited for him. I've been following Terrence for a little while now. He's
Yeah,
such a good poser,
I
and
know.
he's also just like a really good dude. But huge thing is Terrence came in second this year, which is freaking massive. I mean, he took last year off, so that he could train and kind of grow to his potential. He worked with Joe Bennett, the hypertrophy coach, and his coach was John Meadows, the mountain dog, actually
His
right here.
coach was John.
Yeah.
His
So
prep coach.
his nutrition coach was John, and then his lifting coach was Joe Bennett.
Joe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get much better.
I know, that's like the Kings right there. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't really know
he
about the
looked.
Mountain Dogs nutrition, but I know
He's good.
that Joe's.
John Meadows is very, very good.
They
He's also
both did
very
a
good at
great
training.
job. They
Yeah.
they both did a great job. Clearly.
Yeah. So Terrence looked amazing. Super happy for him. You know, big talk here is Chris Bumstead. What he brought this year compared to last year was incredible. I'll have to find some photos of side by side. We'll I know who has those, but we'll get there in a second. Chris looked amazing. He did a really good job. Well deserving of the win. And then
I thought Breon came in. Breon came in looking pretty good too, my opinion.
Yeah, so Breon was really, really crisp. He looked good. I think Classic is one of those interesting classes right now, just because it's so new, and because it's so new, I think there's a lot of play in what the look is going to be, especially because it's supposed to look classic.
Yeah.
And I think Breon looks more like he should compete in 212. His structure is much more bodybuilder versus classic kind of shape. And that is no disrespect to Breon at all.
I actually think he was 212.
No,
for a second.
He's won classic twice.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I can't remember if it was on Fuad's podcast or not, but I think he had mentioned that he was 212. but then
Oh,
came down. Like this is like a while back though.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't remember.
But I agree,
Um,
dude. I think he has a much more 212 look than he does a classic.
yeah. I mean, he looks amazing, right? Breon is just like his conditioning and his lines and his muscle bellies. They're so full and round,
Yeah.
and he looks really really good.
Mm.
But
Is there a picture of
I
him?
think let me see if I can find one. If not on this page, there's definitely on another page. This is another photo of Terrence, by the way.
Yeah.
Insane. Um,
I'm surprised that they don't have a picture of Breon.
yeah, here, I'll get it. Buys and tries definitely does.
Big Ramy.
Breon.
There he is.
All right, here we go. So this is Breon here. Um, again, he looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really beautiful physique. But in comparison to the structure of Chris Bumstead, um, I think the shape is just favored, and it's gonna go to someone like Chris or someone like Terrence, and they actually have very very similar looking physiques when they're compared next to each other. Whereas Terrence looks a little bit more like the 212 guys.
And Breon.
Yeah. Breon looks a little bit more like the 212 guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
What do you think it
since
is?
I'm on,
Think it's the midsection?
I think it's just he doesn't have a long torso, or it
Mm.
doesn't appear like he has a long torso.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's kind of funny to say just because Terrence is also very short.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's the other thing that I saw too. Terrence and Breon was a little bit taller than I thought. And Bumstead isn't as tall as I thought.
Olmsted is 6'1".
Yeah, I thought he was like honestly, dude, I thought Bumstead was like 6'4", 6'5".
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me show you this shot. So the huge knock. This is 1 year apart. So this was
I
Chris
know.
last year,
Yeah.
at the Olympia, which he also won. But his huge knock was that he didn't have a back.
Yeah.
And it is really really impressive to see him come back, weigh in the same, and look this different.
And
He weighed
literally have
almost
a back.
yeah, he weighed literally almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
And that's kudos to him and his
Yeah.
coach Ian. They just absolutely crushed it in his off season, and his
Yeah, they did.
conditioning was so crisp. He looked really really good. So kudos to Chris on the hard work. I'm really excited to see what he continues to develop. Um, he's been heighted over 6'1", which means he can put on another 10 pounds of muscle and still weigh in. So it's going to be really, really impressive to kind of see how he continues to develop.
Mm.
Um, so that was awesome. Let's see. Oh, speaking of 212, Sean Clarita,
Mm-hmm.
he is a
Dude.
Matt Jansen athlete.
Yep. Shout out to Camp Jansen.
Shout out to Camp Jansen. Um, dude's insane. I mean,
Yeah,
it,
he
it
came
is
in
incredible.
freaky.
He is absolutely freaky.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I
Dude.
one of my favorite things that I saw from this weekend is when he did his weigh-in. He weighed in with his hoodie, sweatpants, and J's on because he's competing in 212 and he has a body weight of 177 pounds.
Yeah.
He didn't need to take the clothes off to make weight.
Yeah.
It was just like
Crazy.
it was insane. He looked so incredible. I gotta find some more
That's
shots.
funny. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
here we go. Like,
Is that the bull or no?
yeah. This is
Yeah.
George DeBull, and then there's Sean.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
It's just, I mean, his level of conditioning was ridiculous. Absolutely peeled out of his mind.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, so kudos to him and Matt. He looked incredible. Well deserving of the win.
Yeah, yeah, that one.
This is just insane. Like this is
Shoulders,
insane
dude.
to see
Arms are
on a
thick.
177-pound man.
Abs are just sitting there like
Yeah,
bricks.
like incredible.
Yeah, dude. Crazy.
Um, we haven't even talked about Ramy yet.
Nope, not yet.
All
There
right,
he is, just peering over at us.
let's find Ramy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this
So a lot
shot.
of people were hyping up Phil Heath.
Yeah.
He apparently had a documentary set up for and everything.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to talk too much about it. Just because I don't have too many great things to say, and I don't want to put a bad name out about it. You know,
No,
Phil
me
is
neither.
still one of the greats,
Yeah.
right? Um, I I feel a little bit bad for how he came back.
I also did feel bad because it seemed like he had just come out of a surgery too, I think, or like a little surgery, not like just,
Yeah,
but
so
he did go through a little
he had a
surgery for.
hernia
Yeah,
surgery.
yeah.
And the first one went wrong, so he had to do it again.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it just you're just never gonna be the same, right? After one of those surgeries.
Yeah, we
Um,
say that. Hopefully, he just proves us wrong, though. You know, these guys always do. By the way, like whenever someone like knocks any of these guys, they literally like whether it's like the year after or 5 years after, they end
yeah,
up blowing it out of the water. And then the people that were saying shit, they just are sitting there with their thumbs up their butt. So we're not trying to be those guys with our thumbs up
yeah.
our butt
I'm
in
not
five
trying to
years.
say anything negative about
Yeah,
Phil at
not
all. You
no
know,
no. These guys are amazing athletes.
Phil is still incredible, and I'll say arguably top three at this Olympia. You know,
Yeah.
some people had him in fourth,
Mm,
um, but
yeah.
it's just yeah. Anyway,
But
this is to
but
talk about Ramy.
but Big Ramy though.
But big Ramy, he showed up,
Yeah,
man.
I've never seen legs like that before.
I
Like,
mean, nobody's ever seen him look like this before. It was incredible to see someone of his size and stature be conditioned, which is what everyone was waiting for, right?
yeah,
He got a lot of knocks about him because he's massive, right? He's the next mass monster, and everybody was looking for Ronnie Coleman conditioning, and he just wasn't achieving it in the past. Um, but when he came in, he had his conditioning on, and it showed. Right, he won.
dude,
I mean, all of his side shots were insane.
dude,
You just can't beat this,
that leg,
right?
dude.
There
Like
is
the
nothing that is going to beat the horse leg that
no,
is right here.
that glute ham quad,
Yeah, it's just
literally.
everything is peeled. The striations are deep. It is just
Yeah, the
it's
muscles are
incredible.
just thicker than molasses.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and I think what was really cool is to see how much fun he was actually having. He was having a really good time up there. It was so fun. Um, like it's
Yeah,
just
dude.
like I don't even have words for it. It's so crazy to look at. He's just astonishing, you know.
Dude, look at that picture of on the top right, just a silhouette of his quads, bro.
Yeah.
Look at
Speaking
that.
of Ronnie Coleman Ramy, um,
Mm.
here
Is that
is
Ronnie?
no, that's not Ronnie.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm tripping for a second there. This
Yeah.
is a comparison of last year and this year.
2018
Okay.
in this year,
Mm.
which is very interesting.
He looks a little smaller this year when
Yeah,
in terms
a
of his
little bit
back.
less definition through his back.
Yeah.
I think his conditioning was better.
His
Uh,
conditioning was definitely better this year around.
yeah, I
I
mean
think he
he competed 20 pounds lighter than here.
mm,
Um,
he's 20 pounds lighter this year
Yeah,
than he
yeah.
was in
He
2018?
competed at 290,
Fuck.
which is insane.
What do you wait? The 2 years ago, 2018?
2018, he competed at 310,
Get out of here.
dude.
310.
Yeah, and so like when we look at these pictures, you see these and you're like, yeah, he's a bodybuilder. I think most people don't recognize just how insanely massive this man is. Here's where
Actually,
you can really see the difference, right? So this is 2018.
mm.
This is now.
It's like he took the mass from his upper back and he just put it into his legs.
He put it into his legs. His stomach looks a little bit better. He's more conditioned through the upper body.
Yeah.
Um, it was just a great showing for him. I think in 2018 he got sixth. I don't remember who was in that Olympia. That was
Where's
Sean
that,
Roden's win.
that hammy at though?
Yeah.
The
But
hammy.
either way, incredible. Really happy for him.
Yeah.
This was a really exciting Olympia.
Dude, the women too, man. I thought some of the
Yeah.
women just looked like
I would love to go through all of
superheroes
the
almost.
women, but I don't know enough about how they're judged or anything to do it any justice.
Yeah, I don't either.
Um, Same thing with how men's physique works.
Yeah, can you click on that?
Um,
I know Brandon won, right? Yeah. I
see,
just don't know anyone else's name.
oh, I just liked it.
You can unlike it. You can unlike it.
Oh, wait, that's mean. Yeah, so Brandon Hendrickson won. He's won at least once before.
Yeah, he looks very familiar.
I don't remember how many he's won, but he's won at least one other. He was the defending champ.
That guy
Uh,
in the green?
yeah, this
I mean
guy,
yellow. I said
Raymond.
green.
Yeah, Raymond Edmonds. Um, yeah, I again, I don't know enough on this class to really talk about it. It's never really been a class that I'm overly interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, I love legs.
Yeah, we're kind of here for the mass monsters.
Yeah, mass monsters and beautiful shapes.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that.
Yeah, dude. Like, dude, that's insane, man.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, man, some of the women, like, do they have any of the shots from some of like the open women? Like that
Um,
one right there, that bottom left right there.
this one?
That one, yeah, that one, that was a pretty cool lineup.
This is physique. Yeah, women's physique.
That was a cool lineup.
That was a good
And
lineup. I
yeah,
actually I did watch that one all the way through.
yeah.
That
I
one was
can't believe
good.
that lady and the woman, or the woman in the middle. I was actually surprised that she turned out on top.
Yeah,
I was surprised with that.
I had I had her winning. I don't know her name.
I
I'm
thought she had
sorry.
great. Yeah, me
Um,
too. Me
her
neither. It's
name
okay.
her Instagram is the real fitness beauty.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Um.
I had her winning.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people did. I think some people are kind of upset about this win.
Yeah. I was following Natalie, and I was also following Ivy as well. Or Ivor Hine.
Yes.
So it was cool to see them like step on stage, and I was like, oh shit, I had no idea they were even prepping for this.
Right. I had no idea you were prepping for the Olympia.
For the biggest competition of your life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I don't know enough about how the women's divisions are judged
Yeah.
to really talk too much on it. I watched some of the fitness routines. They're
Mm.
crazy.
Yeah, that's where I get lost a little bit. I
Yeah,
do get
they're
lost in the
crazy.
fitness routines.
I also get lost on how bikini is judged.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Honestly, I
from
feel like bikini is literally just like if your face, like, do you look nice? Like, I feel like
yeah,
bikini is not as serious. Is that bikini right there?
where?
No.
No,
These
none
middle
of these
shots?
shots are bikini.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say,
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I think bikini just has such small margins. Like from my meathead perspective, they just they all kind of look the same to me. So I don't know how to differentiate them.
I feel like they walked on like a year ago. Like they almost all of them could have like walked on with like a year of experience.
Right.
Honestly, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. If anybody ever watches this that competes in bikini, um, we aren't trying to badmouth bikini or anything. We
No,
just
not at
we
all.
just don't know. Feel free
You
to
know,
send us a message and kind of explain it to us because we don't know.
I feel like the
I'd love to
difference.
learn so that I can understand it better.
Yeah, I also would too. And
Right.
I have just as much of an appreciation. So what I'm about to say, don't take shots at it. But I feel like the difference between this division and the division that we were just looking at is small amounts of test.
Oh my God.
Just saying. Like I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't know.
I
Are
uh,
these guys natty? I don't know.
I
It
don't know.
looks like it.
I've wondered that. We gotta get some competitors on the podcast, I think. We gotta
Yeah,
start
dude,
chatting with
how
these
cool
people.
would it be if we started giving a voice to like people that are in the Olympia? We just talk to people in the Olympia,
Yeah.
and we'll
Easy
bring
as
that
that.
to you guys. This is what we're here for, you guys. Okay?
Um, let's see. What else is left to talk about with the Olympia? Dexter, he's he's
That was his
finished out.
last. Yep, his
That was
last
his
year,
last
right?
show.
No pictures of
Yep.
him, right?
Here he is.
Mm, dude. So for those of you guys who can see this, man, we're gonna give you 5 seconds on the clock. All right, just guess this man's age in your head. All right, we're gonna give you 5 seconds. All right,
All
Brady,
right.
how old is he? Because I don't know how old he is exactly.
He is 51 years old.
51. Yeah, I was gonna say 50,
Yeah.
but
Yep. 51
51.
years old, man. It is crazy.
He just gets
Um,
better and better as time goes on.
yeah, I think at this Olympia, age started to show on him a little bit, which is why he didn't place as well as I think some people were hoping he was going to. But it was still very honorable, uh, final competition, and they gave him a really really beautiful send off
Yeah.
and an ovation from the crowd. It was a good moment. I don't think he's going to fully walk away from the bodybuilding scene.
No, I don't
Actually,
know.
I think he just launched a supplement line.
He's just getting started.
Yeah, so he's now leaving competition and moving to the business of bodybuilding. So, best of luck to Dexter. Um, oh wait, there's more photos to this.
Okay,
Oh,
I
the other
wanted to talk about
other
that guy.
placings. Um,
Yeah, there's Wesley. I never really had too much to say about Wesley.
his shape is crazy.
He does have some. He's
If
got
he
some
can grow
crazy
out
lats.
if he can grow out some legs,
Yeah.
he just so that he starts to get maybe he just needs to pose it better. I don't know, but if he can, put some size on his legs so that he creates a little bit more of an X frame here,
Mm,
um, I think he could do really well. I mean, his shape is just insane. Um, just the way his lats insert and sit on
yeah.
him is pretty crazy. Um, one person and that I that I just thought was funny was Logan Franklin. He talked a lot of shit walking up to this Olympia to be second call out. Like he talked a ton of shit to Chris Bumstead.
Really.
Yeah, yeah, and I have to assume that it was just him hoping to get some more
Clout.
exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah, a clout chasing kind of thing. But yeah, he talked a lot of crap
Did
to end
he?
up being second call out. So
Eesh.
yeah, a lot of people were thinking that he was going to be right up there competing with Chris, and he wasn't.
Really? Can you click
He
on his
wasn't
profile real
ever in
quick?
the same call out.
Can you click on his profile real quick? I just
Yeah.
want to see like his couple weeks leading up into it. Because that's big talk.
Yeah.
Saying they're going to take down Chris Bumstead.
Yeah. And like, he doesn't have bad shape or anything.
No, yeah, he's got great shape.
He's just not there yet.
Yeah.
You know, I think with time, as time goes on, he can definitely be competitive. I don't know how old he is or any of that stuff, but assuming by how he went about getting more followers, he's probably pretty young.
Wait, if you just go up, it's like that's like such a typical like lifting thing to do. If you go up a little bit more, it's just like yeah, and then click on the top right. Like you just
This
can't
one?
take a normal picture. Yep. Like I was thinking
Oh,
about that. I was like, bodybuilders just like can't take a normal picture. Like they always gotta be like hitting
gotta
some like
flex.
lat spread or like
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, that's funny stuff.
Like even when they're like fully clothed, even like and they're like standing next to each other, sometimes like people they're just like pulling lat spreads, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh wait, we got one.
This is my baby, but also my bicep.
Check out my bicep. Look
Yeah.
how big my bicep looks with this baby hand on it. It's a cute kid though.
That's good.
Kids that smile are good kids.
Yeah, if they cry, not a good kid.
Not a good kid. You guys are gonna see all my tabs up here. Why can't I go back? There we go.
I wanted to know who that one guy is. If you click over,
This
if you
guy?
click to the next cell, that top
Lord
left.
Jones?
Yeah, I saw
Dude.
him stand on the side, and I was like, this man looks like he's straight out of the Amazon.
Dude, this man
This dude.
has an insane physique.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one that was thinking that, bro. Like,
However,
he's got some crazy shape. He just was not conditioned.
yeah, I mean, his look is just incredible.
I fucking agree, bro. Like shit.
However, I think he should move to open. Just because he's so tall.
He was tall.
Yeah, to fill out his frame, he's gonna have to be massive, and I don't think he's gonna make weight. But yeah, no, he looked awesome. I think he was definitely kind of the surprise of the first call out.
Yeah,
You know,
like who is this?
everybody knew Chris, Terrence, and Brian were going to be in first call out. I think people expected I think his name is Alex. If I can go back here. There we go. Yeah, Alex. He was the Ohio Arnold winner. So I think they were expecting him to also be in that first call out, but I think I forgot what's your first name, man? Brian.
Lord. First name Lord.
Yeah, I think Brian Jones was definitely like the shock of the first call out. People weren't expecting that.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, because
where's his waist?
I'm not
Like,
going to lie,
where is
bro.
his waist here?
Literally, yeah, he's like a yellow jacket. Literally, like a wasp.
Yeah,
dude. When I was looking at the lineup and the recaps, bro, I didn't even look at Bumstead or Brian. Honestly, to be honest, like my eye went straight to this dude first, just because of how tall he was, I guess, and his hair.
Yeah.
But more so his shape, bro.
His shape is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I think we covered the Olympia pretty well there.
I think so too. Yeah. Is there anyone else in the lineup that we didn't talk about? Hoffman. I don't really know all these guys.
We could talk about, if we wanted to talk about some open guys. You know, I think.
Yeah, I think we covered it.
I think Bonac didn't really get talked about much this year, or maybe not this year, but in this show, he just kind of like comfortably landed fifth.
Like
nobody was really talking much about him.
Yeah.
He just kind of showed up and did his thing and landed 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Hottie looked insane. I think on prejudging, he didn't nearly get as good of a look as he should have. He started in the second call out for some reason.
That is weird.
And
Yeah.
then by the end of the finals, they had him second.
He took second?
No. Just by the end of comparisons,
Oh.
they had him in the second spot, but he took 4th because his prejudging was so low.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder if that. Huh. Okay. So would he have been down points just because of that scenario?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Damn.
So both days are judged on a point system.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can find the scorecard. But real quick, Ian was peeled out of his mind.
Oh yeah. So
uh,
Ian is Chris Bumstead's coach. For those of you guys
yes.
watching.
Yeah. So he coached Chris and got ready for his own Olympia.
Got Chris peeled and got peeled himself.
Yeah. They're also now related.
They're married
Ian
now?
is married to Chris's sister.
Yeah, that happened. Actually, that's been a thing, right?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's actually cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Let's see if I can find the scorecard. I think Bison Tries has it. Let me go back.
I think they're definitely the coolest like brother sister duo out there.
Yeah, 100%. Scorecard.
Did Melissa win the O?
She
couple years back?
has. Yeah. Scorecard. Ah, it's not on here. I thought it was on here. That's
It's
weird.
crazy how little the women get like any recognition.
Coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, they get like very little coverage.
That's crazy. All right. Um. Yeah. Anyway, so that was the Olympia. I hope you guys watched it and enjoyed it. It was really really cool. Honestly, a lot of history was just made in that Olympia. So
Yeah, this was my first. That was just kind of like, and I actually didn't even really see it in its whole. I wish I did. Did you pay for it?
yeah.
How much was it?
$60 for both days.
Whoa. Okay.
So $30 a day.
Gotcha. Which isn't bad. I would have paid that. I was just at Kelsey's, so
Yeah.
I was not watching it, unfortunately. Watched a lot of recaps though.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I just wanted. Well, one, I was really excited to watch it.
Yeah.
Two, it was a really good way to support the sport, especially with this year, how tough this year has been.
Yeah.
And three, $60 for 2 days of shows is nothing when people pay $70, $80 to watch a 2-minute fight.
Yeah.
Right? Like people will pay $70 to watch Conor McGregor fight somebody in the ring for like 30 seconds.
Yeah. It was well worth it. And especially because it's something that we support so much too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, really cool. A lot of history. I'm already excited for the next one.
Yeah.
Just because there's a lot of young names coming up.
Yeah. I was just about to say, dude, I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, this is the one sport where it's like, people just come back better. They're just better.
Right.
Like very rarely do they come back not better. Like most of the time, these guys are coming up like freshly evolved Pokemon every single time.
Yep.
Like these guys are like, you watch soccer, you watch football, you watch any other sport. It's like, oh yeah, it's like
go through phases.
Yeah, it's like their team does well, but like your players, like they all kind of play like relatively the same as they did the year before. Maybe they have like a couple like tricks up their sleeve or something. They kick a ball with like the inside of their laces instead of the outside of the laces or something. I don't know. But like this one is like, yo, Chris Bumstead like built a back in a year. Like what? Like Big Ramy, his legs were literally the size of my body. Like okay. Like,
Each leg weighed as much as you.
Literally. Yeah, I would not be surprised,
I
honestly.
do wonder how much do you think his leg, just like one of his leg weighs, if you took it off at the hip?
If you literally slice that leg off, he weighs 290.
He weighed 290 on stage, yeah.
If we cut Big Ramy right in half, not down the middle, I guess. I mean, if you cut him down the middle, right? So you cut him down the middle, and that would mean that there was a buck 45 on either side, and then you cut that in half. You're looking at like a 70-pound leg almost. I'd say his leg is
Jeez,
probably like 50 to 70 pounds.
that's insane.
That's that is pretty insane.
Oh my God. Crazy.
That's crazy.
You know what? Speaking of legs, I got a question for you. Ooh, best exercises for growing your hamstring hang.
Oh
What do you
God.
think?
I really am a firm believer. I mean, outside of the RDL, but like I really do think that ham curls
Yes.
are really dope for
That was
hamstring
exactly
development.
what I was going to say.
Yeah. Like I don't because I was actually really thinking about it. I think that the hammies I think the hammies go through a larger contraction phase on the knee flexion side of things, less so than the hip hinging side of things. Like
Yeah,
if you were to hip
absolutely.
hinge, your fibers aren't moving nearly as much as they would be if you were just doing like a pure hip or I'm sorry, a knee flexion exercise like an ISO ham curl or something like that. So
Right.
I would say an isolated ham curl machine of some sort, lying or standing.
Yeah, I agree. I
Hey,
also think that ham curls in terms of hamstring growth is actually better than the RDL.
yeah.
Um, RDLs are obviously going to get you much stronger,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you're going to grow some good glutes, right? It looked pretty silly to have big hamstrings with no glutes.
It's gonna be
Just
the
think,
next would you rather. Rather have a huge ass with no hammies
or huge
or
hammies with
huge
no
hammies
ass.
with no ass.
What would you choose? I don't know, like I'm
That's a funny
picturing
one.
both.
Yeah, I am too.
I think I'd make more money if I just had a huge ass.
I wanted to lean towards that too,
Yeah.
just because I think it'd be more fun.
Yeah. No, I think sadly between the two, I think I would pick having a big ass
Yeah.
versus having no ass and having massive hamstrings.
Yep.
All right. Good. We covered that. Um,
Good. I'm glad we
good.
got that out of the way. Thank God.
That's been a pressing question. Um, Another rapid fire question. You like training in a hot or a cold gym?
Cold gym.
What?
I would rather train in a cold gym
No.
with some sweatshirts on or something. Yeah, for sure.
No. No. What do
Also, wait, disclaimer. I haven't trained anywhere particularly really cold.
you mean by that?
Like I haven't trained in like a garage in the winter.
That's
And
not
my
what
gym does not get cold.
I mean like a gym that's like 65.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with
No.
that.
No.
No.
No, that's not acceptable. No, I would much rather train in a hot gym.
Really? Because like if you get
Yes.
hot, if you think about it, right? So like if you get hot though, don't you get all like uncomfortable?
No, I start sweating and I'm like, this is badass. Let's work harder. If I'm cold in a gym and I'm trying to lift and I can't even get a sweat or a good pump because I'm cold,
Hmm.
I'll be angry for like a week.
So it's that bad to the point where like you're not getting warm at all.
Yeah. I
Oh,
have a hard time getting and staying warm. I cool down really, really quickly.
okay.
So, and I've trained in like a warehouse style gym in Texas. And that was awesome.
Real hot sounds like.
So it was it really, I don't know. It wasn't terrible, right?
Mm.
Um
God damn
God.
it.
I don't know. I really enjoyed it because you get your sweat worked up and your muscles aren't getting cold, easier to
Mhm.
keep a pump.
You could actually get a pump, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
do agree with that pump part. Like as soon as I leave World Gym, all pump is gone. In the
yeah,
wintertime. In the wintertime.
yeah.
I
Isn't
I
it
do
fun
agree
when
that
it's
it
warm
feels really
out and you can
nice.
leave the gym and still have a pump?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like it does feel really nice to get a pump. So
Yeah.
I'm like halfway in between because I also like I pictured it as like, do you like sleeping in like a hot room or a cold room?
Well, I would rather sleep in a cold room, but training and sleeping are complete opposites.
True, but you have blankets that you can keep warm with in a cold room. So I was thinking like, oh, like if I'm in a cold gym, then I have my sweatshirt, I can still get my pump on,
No,
but
I'm
it's
not
too cold.
I'm not talking about the extremes. I'm talking like, would you rather work out in a gym that's kept at 60 degrees, or would you rather work out in a gym that's kept at like 75
I can still get a pump in a 60-degree gym.
in the winter?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
60's cold.
Like I think I'm gonna check the thermometer. I'm in my gym,
I
but it,
bet you it's warmer than you think.
you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's probably like 70.
Yo, my
If you
mind's
have a
about to
big
get blown up.
gym, it's probably.
Yeah, it's in the basement, so it's a pretty big gym. So I'll check.
But yeah, no. Hot gym, get a sweat, get a pump, keep a pump. Because if a
Yeah,
gym's cold, I have to like hurry my sets up so that I don't get cold.
yeah. Like I also feel like I would waste less time.
Nah,
I don't
I take the exact amount of time I need.
know. Yeah, like today was not fun because I was rushing my sets here and there.
Yeah, it's way less fun. You don't perform as well.
No, yeah. I
Um,
would, and oddly enough, you don't perform nearly as well. Period.
no,
I did perform much better than I thought, though. You
that's
know,
good.
yeah, yeah. Like there is something to be said for like not having a perfect day. Like sometimes you're like not everything goes to plan, but just because like you don't have your pre-workout or some shit, you should still go left. If that is the case.
Yeah,
But
all the time,
yeah,
all the time. I don't, very seldom do I have perfect days.
yeah, exactly.
Um, but yeah, so think about it. If you have a cold gym, right?
I'll think about it.
you you start sweating while you're lifting, and then when you're not lifting, the sweat then becomes cold, which cools you down,
That is
which
kind of
makes you
annoying.
cold.
Okay,
You
okay.
seeing it? I'm gonna
I am
convert you.
seeing it.
You're gonna be like, I need a warm gym.
You're gonna convert me to a warm gamer. Yeah. I
I don't know.
it's
I
interesting. I also haven't really thought about that too much either.
I like sweating. Do you like
I
sweating?
don't like sweating too much. I
Oh
mean,
well,
no, no, no,
you
no.
would
I
like a
do.
cool gym,
I do like sweating,
monster.
but you monster. I
um,
do, but I don't like being like when you say that, it brings me back to me running the fastest mile of my life on a track in just fucking like smoldering heat. And I finish and all I can feel is the sun in my lungs and the sweat is pouring off of my face onto the turf field and every breath I take feels like I'm not breathing because the air outside is so warm it's matching that of inside and I just feel like I'm suffocating and sweat.
dude, we're
So
bodybuilders, not track runners.
I'm scarred, Brady. I'm scarred.
Our sets last like 45 seconds.
I know. I'm talking about running like 10-minute mile now.
A 10-minute. Oh my goodness.
Let the record show it was much faster than 10 minutes. All right.
But it felt like an eternity. All right. Serious question. I should preface it with, can you pull a vacuum? Do you know how to pull a vacuum?
Not right now. But yeah, I was really good at pulling vacuums.
Okay.
I'm not that great at pulling vacuums right now, though.
Okay.
I
Question.
practice them.
Do you think visceral fat plays a role in someone's ability to pull a vacuum? Just to confirm, visceral fat is internal,
Lined.
like organs. Yeah. Okay. I have my answer.
I'm going to say no.
You don't think so?
I'm going to say no unless you know something that I don't know. But unless it's to the point where it's like if you have so much visceral fat tissue that it's impeding a vacuum, you're probably not doing a vacuum in the first place. You're probably no one that's going to hit a vacuum in the first place or trying to hit a vacuum. You're sure trying to hit a 6-pack of donuts. That's what you're trying to hit. If
true.
your visceral fat is that low. But I
Yeah.
would say like for most peeps, I don't think visceral fat gets in the way. But in the extremes, technically, then yes.
Yes.
If there is a lot
Yeah.
of visceral fat and your diaphragm has to contract against certain tissues, then yeah, it's going to impede it to an extent for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely thought about it in the extreme.
Yeah, which is
I was
good.
like,
So it should be.
it definitely would. But in an extreme, and if you're at the point where you're pulling vacuums and you're able to see that you're pulling a vacuum, you probably don't have enough visceral fat to
Yeah,
make
that's the other thing. If
it
you're trying to
for it to
pull a
be
vacuum and you have so much of that, it's probably not going to change very much.
like someone on my 600-pound life probably isn't going to pull a vacuum.
Yeah, and if they did, it would probably like imagine if they okay, just for a second, just imagine someone 600 pounds just
I
sucking
don't
in their
think they'd
stomach a
be
little
able
bit.
to. I
No,
don't think
I
they'd
think
be
that
able
there
to.
would be so much weight. Like I think the subcutaneous fat would also play a part in that because
Yeah.
it's literally acting against that diaphragm to pull it up and in because
Yeah.
the fat technically pulls like down and out. So
Right.
like I think that would also hurt things a little bit. But basically,
Right.
a
It wouldn't
vacuum.
it wouldn't be accomplished.
Yeah. And for those of you guys who are like, okay, what the heck is a vacuum? Like all I know is that it sweeps things up like the dust bunnies underneath my bed. A vacuum is when basically I don't know if you hit the vacuum like this, but you exhale everything. I can hit a vacuum full lunged, but
Me too.
typically vacuums are empty lunged and then you're just like sucking in your stomach. Where basically everything kind of gets pulled towards your spine and up. And then it makes your rib cage flare out, and it's a pretty aesthetic look for classic competitors.
So we actually saw it when we were looking at Chris. Chris was
Yeah.
pulling a vacuum. How you saw his waist was super in, and you could see his ribs flared out, and his stomach kind of went in.
Mm.
That's a vacuum.
I like how he pulls his vacuums too because
Oh, so good.
he does his abdominal and thigh, and then
Yep.
he just like vacuums and then just takes like a small step out with his other foot, and it's like,
Yep.
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. He crushes that one.
Do you
Um,
think vacuums do a good job for your waist in terms of training your waist?
actually, I think they mostly just help you become aware of controlling your waist.
Okay.
Um, so actually now that I'm in my bulk phase and I stopped pulling vacuums like 3 times a day, I've noticed that I don't control my waist the same.
Huh.
And so sometimes I'll look at myself, I'm like, whoa, dude, you put on way too much weight because I'll see like more of my stomach, but I haven't actually put on that much fat. It's just
Yeah.
I stopped controlling my stomach in.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
it sits more relaxed than it did while I was dieting and I was constantly training, pulling that in and working
Mhm.
that muscle. And
So you're like halfway yes, no, kind of.
I actually forgot what the question was.
Do you think vacuums help? Not like, they don't like cut pounds of fat off your waist, but do you think it helps to train the waist?
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't technically make your waist any smaller. It just helps you control your waist so that it can be smaller,
Mm,
right? It helps. Um, it trains a muscle that allows you to keep your waist sucked in, I suppose.
yeah.
Your inner abdominals. Um, and so yeah, it trains your waist, but not in a way that it's not magically cutting off inches. It's it's literally just helping you contract a muscle.
Yeah. Yeah, there it definitely
Right.
will not elicit like a night and day difference.
Right. Because when and it's a trained muscle, right? When you first ever try and pull a vacuum,
Shit hurts.
it hurts. You're not nearly getting as far into it as you will be able to.
Hmm.
And then you practice them every day, and then suddenly you
Yeah.
can literally make your waist like this thin from the side.
Like freaky.
Yeah. I wonder if
Yeah.
I have a photo of it somewhere. Because I took a photo of it from the side when I was practicing, like right towards the end of
Yeah.
my diet, and it
Mhm.
was just insane. Like I
Yeah.
had no waist.
Yeah.
It
I
was
can literally like go like
right.
this
Yeah.
and like one of those like
Yeah.
across my body.
Right. Um, and so the reason I thought this question was actually interesting was because if there was visceral fat when you do a vacuum, your organs have to move a little bit.
Yeah.
It, they have to be moved so that your stomach can pull everything in. Um, and so if you did have a substantial amount of visceral fat, moving them would be much more of a process, and it would make it far more difficult.
Yeah.
Um,
And if you have that much visceral fat around your organs, you have other issues
right
that you need to get sorted.
before you try and pull a vacuum.
Yeah. You can try and pull a vacuum though, by all means.
Yeah,
But
you can pull a vacuum anywhere. I can pull a vacuum sitting here in a chair.
same. That's what I
I
tell my
should
clients.
start practicing those
I tell
again.
my clients that too. I'm like, if I want to get them to the point where like they can flex their right or left butt cheek whenever they want, or their
Right.
left or right hamstring whenever they want. Like,
And that's why I posed so much just to figure out like contracting different muscles and all of that stuff. Like it helped so much with my training,
yeah, posing
especially
definitely helps.
especially my back training.
Hmm. I agree.
So yeah, posing is a good way to get better at training.
100%.
It's a lot easier to get better at posing when you're leaner because you can see things.
Yeah.
Um, but it doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to pose. Just don't look like a tool in the gym.
Yeah. Yeah. Save it for the locker room.
All right. My final question for you. We've been on for a little over an hour and a half.
Dang it.
Yeah. Um, can someone get shredded with only weight training and nutrition and no cardio?
Yes, but it'd be much harder.
Agreed. 100%.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I figured you were going to say. But
Yeah.
I wanted the question to be answered.
And they're good questions. They're honestly good questions. Like especially because like the peeps need to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would just be a little bit harder, just because like the more variables that you have at your disposal to manipulate, um, definitely helps. Because if you only have so many variables, you're only going to be able to run down that track for so long, or run down that path for so long until you hit a dead end. So, your cals are going to get so low, and that's really pretty much it. Like you're not really expending a lot of calories when you weight train. So in terms of caloric deficits and trying to lose weight is what we're talking about. It's
Yeah. Trying to get shredded.
yeah, it's definitely much, your only focus is going to be on um calories in, so like the food that you're consuming, and you're going to have to limit that if you want to lose some weight. And you know, there's if you are doing this, I would probably suggest you take a really, really, really long time and cut that food as slow as you possibly can. But like eventually your food's going to get to a point where it's just so low that you can't consume any less um, before running into like some hormonal issues, or you're just, kind of batshit crazy after 4 weeks of being on 800 cals
Yeah.
and you don't want to push it anymore. So, um,
Yeah. It could be done. It will not be enjoyable.
mhm.
And the interesting thing here is in this question, it says weight training and nutrition. So really, you could adjust your weight training in a way that is more cardiovascularly demanding. So this is my really roundabout way to get around the question is if I were to do this where I wanted to do zero cardio and I only wanted to rely on my nutrition and my weight training, is I would have to transform all of my weight training to be more like cardio, right?
So would that be so like battle ropes, does that qualify? Or like walking does not qualify?
I think walking neat will leave as um,
Vacuum.
that still counts.
Okay.
Um, but
As something we can manipulate?
uh, yes,
Okay. I
um,
mean, if that's the case, then I would like you're walking like 15,000 steps. Like,
there's a point I was doing that
I know.
in my last diet. Oh my god. But yeah, my weight training we would have lower lower rest periods or shorter rest periods. Probably higher rep, more metabolic work. We probably wouldn't hit compounds very often, just because it would crush you to do it at the frequency and volume that would be needed.
Yeah, food is low.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, it would have to be a complete overhaul of your training. You'd probably lose a lot of muscle mass
Yeah.
um, during it, but that's part
I
of the
would,
game if you want to take away cardio.
yeah, don't
You
take
can
away
get pretty
cardio.
far without doing cardio.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. I agree.
Actually, with a lot of my clients, um, when they come to me, we start with just weight training and nutrition and see how far we can go roughly before hitting um, like a what would be considered almost low in calories before I'll throw in cardio.
Hmm.
Depending on kind of what their goals are and how new they are to all of this. Because if they're brand new and they're trying to take on this whole weight loss journey, if I throw nutrition at them and I throw weight training at them and I throw steps at them and I throw fill out all your feedback and then I try and throw cardio, it's just too many things to manage. So they're far more successful if they just have to train and focus on their nutrition.
Hmm.
And then once that becomes more of a habit and we've made, probably one or two diet adjustments, we then will add in cardio,
Yeah.
which then allows us to keep the food where it is and then get back into a deficit.
Yeah. Yep. That sounds like a nice setup. I like
Yeah,
that.
so I use it as a progressive method.
I like that.
All right. It's now midnight, my friend.
It is midnight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for
I
staying
think
up with us.
at whatever time you're watching this. Um, yeah, dude, it was good chatting.
Yeah, as usual, man.
This was actually the longest I think we've gone in between a chat.
Really?
These always come out on a weekly basis, but more times than not, we record them like a couple days apart.
This just so happens to be 7 hours apart.
um, yeah. So it was good to catch up and chat, and hopefully, well, with the holidays coming up, things will be interesting.
Yeah. We'll probably
Um,
have to record another one like maybe this week, I'm guessing, just in case. I don't know. I've got a
yeah,
lot
we'll see.
coming up. Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
see. We'll get
We'll
it all
keep
figured out. We'll make sure all of our fans have episode 9,
yeah.
and then we got our guest on, dude.
Hey, yeah, we got you guys. Don't worry.
And then we can start bringing guests on. But we wanted to make it through the single digits first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we got some people we want to get on and kind of let them tell their stories and what they do, and it'll be a really good time. So
Yeah.
I'll close out with thank you guys for watching. If you made it all the way through, as I said in the beginning, remember to like and subscribe, rate, review. Honestly, it'd be really really cool if you shared us on your social media and gave us a tag. That would be really really helpful for us. We're just trying to get our name out and hopefully let some more people hear what we got to talk about. We try to be as helpful as we can without being overly obnoxious. So
Yeah.
I just hope you guys are enjoying this. I know I am. I'm gonna,
Yeah, I definitely am.
yeah. So even if you don't like this, we're gonna keep doing it. So,
Yeah.
so that's what I'll close out with. We'll catch y'all next week.
We will see you then. Happy holidays, everyone.
All right. Happy holidays.